Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 1st March 2024. So we are going to take Delhi edition of Hindu and we are going to see the important articles from our examination point of view. And after picking out of the articles, we are going to see like in how many dimensions you can think from a single topic point of view. Because that multi-dimensional approach is very useful to get your own perspectives. So this perspective based knowledge is important from your mains and prelims and even from your interview point of view. Because you have to generate your own perspective so that you can answer to the questions for this interviewers. And even if you want to get a good marks in your mains, you have to write answers in as many dimensions as possible. And even in your essay also, this approach will be very useful. And I can say one thing strongly that, so this kind of approach is no one who is providing on YouTube channel. So for sure. So here we are trying to make you this Hindu analysis simplified, and especially beginners who are facing problem like how to read current affairs and how to remember them. So follow this approach so that here success will be taking like very less time than compared to that of others. Because to understand this current affairs and to read this current affairs, it will be taking like 1.5 years to 2.5 years of time. So based on your hard work and your understanding skills. So if you are watching this Rathods IAS analysis, I can surely say that yes, you can improve your understanding skills and even you can improve your thought process regarding this current affairs for sure. Clear? So one thing here is, if you really like this pattern of reading current affairs, so don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to share this video to your friends also. Okay, so without wasting any time, let us see the front page. So this is our front page of Delhi edition. So whichever edition you have, so go through that simply. So first article which is relevant from our examination point of view is 6 Congress rebel MLAs disqualified in Himachal. So we are not going to bother about which political party and why everything. So we are not going to bother about that. But there is one keyword. So that is disqualification of MLAs. Yes, so we have to bother about only this keyword, that is disqualification of MLAs. So we are going to see some dimensions like what you have to see from this article point of view. So it is talking about disqualification of MLAs. So this is the keyword. So how can you know like which is the keyword? So try to by heart the syllabus, and whenever you are starting your preparation on that day, start with the syllabus. So it is my sincere request. So here you have to see like what is the meaning of disqualification. And you have to see like whether this disqualification of MLAs and MPs which is present in our constitution or not. And not only our constitution, so we have to see in which areas so this disqualification of MLAs and MPs is said. So we have to see 2 important things. The first one is our Schedule 10. Which talks about anti-defection law. So this anti-defection law, it is not present in our original constitution, but through Constitution Amendment Act we added this anti-defection law. So you have to see like which is that Constitutional Amendment Act. So please let me know in the comment box. And not only this, even this RPA, Representation of People's Act also, there is a provision which is talking about this disqualification of MLAs and MPs. So from these 3 points of view, we have to see this article. like what is our constitution saying about this disqualification of MLAs and MPs, and even what is the Schedule 10 anti-defection laws telling, and under which provisions so there is disqualification of MLAs is seen under this Representation of Peoples Act. Clear? Okay, so this is very important topic from our GS paper 2, which comes under our polity. And this topic is important both from your prelims and as well as mains. And especially you can expect question from this anti-defection law. Okay, from your prelims. And already number of times the question had been repeated from this topic called as anti-defection law. So I can say this anti-defection law is one of the favorite areas of UPSC. And one more tip of the day is go through the previous questions. So there are some areas where UPSC is focusing more, and there will be no question paper without a question from that topics. So I will be giving you the list of most expected topics, and even I will be giving you the list of 100 important topics where you are going to get a question in your prelims. Okay. So for that, you have to subscribe to Rathods IAS and stay tuned to Rathods IAS, because we are going to provide lots and lots of videos from now onwards, because we started our offline. Okay. And I will be available in this offline branch of Ashok Nagar till 6 p.m. So you can visit this offline branch for free mentorship, and even we are providing like study space for the students, free study space. And one more thing here is we are going to start even free prelims mentorship, and within 2 days we will be conducting the free test of prelims for the students, and we will be evaluating your performance, and we will let you know like which are your strong areas, which are your weak areas, so in which subject you can go with the guesswork, and in which areas you have to take the risk. So everything we will be giving you the detailed feedback on your presentation on this prelims test that we are going to conducting soon in this offline branch. Okay, so I will be giving you like details like how we are conducting that. So what is the process of registration, everything we are going to give you the details. So now let us see this topic in detail. So let us see this notes part. So this article, it is very important because it is talking about disqualification of MLAs. And this article says that yes, 6 Congress rebel MLAs, they had been disqualified and they are going to move to Supreme Court. So here, if you are talking about the constitution provision, so our constitution which is saying that a person can be disqualified as MLA or MLC, that is member of Legislative Council and member of Legislative Assembly. So normally if you see in states, so states have the ability or capability which is given by our constitution, like so if they want to have the 2 houses, they can have 2 houses, and if they want only 1 house, they can have only 1 house. So 2 houses is called as bicameralism, 1 house is called as unicameralism. So the decision which is left to the state whether those states should be have 2 houses or a single house. So if they are having 2 houses, we will be having MLAs and MLCs. If they are having 1 house, then only MLAs. Clear? Clear or not? So if you are understanding the concept, do hit the like button. And also here, he holds, that is the MLA or MLC will hold any office of profit. So if they are getting any office of profit under the government of India or that government of the state or an office declared by the law of the state, then they can be disqualified. And even if they are having unsound mind, so if they are not having the mental stability. And next one is if he is charge sheeted or if he is a bankrupt or insolvent, then he can be disqualified according to Constitution of India. And even if he is not a citizen of India, also he can be disqualified. Or else if he is voluntarily acquiring the citizenship of a foreign state, then also he is disqualified. So these are the provisions under our constitution which talks about disqualification of MLA or MLC. And next let us see one more important thing, that is Anti-Defection Law or Anti-Defection Act, which we added to our constitution under the Schedule 10. So please let me know how many schedules are there. Okay, from the schedules also you can get a question in your prelims, or else if you are preparing for any other competitive examination, schedules topic is very important, and already repeatedly 3 times a question asked in UPSC regarding the schedules. The next one is person shall be disqualified as a member of Legislative Assembly or member of Legislative Council. Here is if an elected member who is voluntarily giving up his membership, that means if he is leaving a political party, and an elected member votes or abstains, if he is voting or abstaining from the voting against whip, then that is also considered as one of the disqualification factor under this Schedule 10. And this one is under this Representation of People's Act also, person shall be disqualified as member of Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council if one is found guilty of an illegal practice. If he is doing any illegal practice in relation to election, like malpractices. And if a person convicted of any offence and sentenced to imprisonment for varying terms. So if he is imprisoned, okay, under this section 8(1), subclass 2 and subclass 3. So because of these provisions which are present in this Representation of People's Act, yes, that is talking about disqualification of MLA and MLC. I am not talking about MP here because it is talking about MLA. Clear? So these are some important things that you have to remember from this article. And the same front page, there is also one more important article, that is GDP growth. So GDP growth for financial year 2024 pegged, that means pegged means increased at 7.6%. So what happened here is we have this National Statistical Office, right? You might know about this. So this National Statistical Office came up with estimate of GDP. Okay, estimate of GDP, and now it said that here from 7.3% it had been increased to 7.6%. So this article is talking about GDP estimates. So there are 2 important key things that you have to focus. So already you will be following Rathods analysis, right? So in earlier classes we discussed that economy is not good, in a good condition, and if you are going outside we are seeing even recession period, especially in this IT sector. So many people, they are losing jobs, and even there is increased price of goods and services, etc. Yes or no? Yes, right? Yes. So here we have to know 2 important things. So first, as an UPSC aspirant, so if you are from economy background or if you have done your degree or masters in economy, you will be getting a questions in your interview regarding economy for sure. So even though if you are not from this economy background, also sometimes some panels, some interview panels, they will be asking questions regarding the present economy, what are the conditions, etc. So here you have to know about what are the reasons of economic downfall. So what are the reasons for this economic downfall? And next you have to know about what can be done way forward. So these are the 2 important things that you have to see. And one more important dimensions you can also think here is not only NSO but even other organizations which are coming up with GDP estimates and their recent data. So many students who are also writing state public service examinations, right? So for that you have to focus on this recent data for sure. Okay, data is very important for your state PCS, but for UPSC it is not much important. But if you are writing the data in introduction, it will be good for economy point of view. And even you have to know some facts regarding this NSO, National Statistical Office. So these are the some dimensions that you have to see. And this topic, as usual, it is important from GS paper 3 under economy. Okay, and you can expect only mains based question here. And from NSO point of view, there is a chance of getting prelims based statements. Clear? So if you are getting like how to read this newspaper and how to connect the things, hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. It will be not taking like more than 2 seconds. Yeah, so now let us see the notes of this article. So if you see context, it says that making a flurry of revisions in economy's growth estimates. So recently NSO, that is National Statistical Office, raised India's real GDP growth. So first of all, you have to understand what is the meaning of GDP. So GDP stands for what? Gross Domestic Product. So what is the meaning of this GDP? That means the total value of final goods and services which are produced in a country within a time period of 1 year. That means within 1 year time period. So within the entire country, so how many goods and services they produced and what is the total value of final goods. So I am talking about final goods. That means we are not taking into account the raw materials and as well as intermediate goods. Okay. So that is the meaning of GDP. I hope it is clear, right? So India's real GDP growth estimates for this year, it had been increased from 7.3% to 7.6%. So last month itself NSO said the growth will be like 7.3%, but now again it increased it to 7.6%. So here in our Indian economy, we are facing lots and lots of challenges. So I will tell you 3 important challenges that we are facing. So nowadays what happened, there is decreased demand. So even household consumption survey is saying that, so people they are decreasing their consumption, especially the food items, and they are going for increasing usage of consumer durables like TVs, etc. That means we can see like there is weakening of external demands. Okay, so there is decreasing of demands for the consumption from the Indians, and even there is also external demand is decreasing. So if we are talking about external means we have to talk about trade. So in trade we have imports and exports. So exports means from India we are sending to other countries. That means there is decrease in the demand of Indian goods in the external markets is seen. Okay, so this is the one important and major problem. So because of this, day by day imports are increasing over exports, and this is the one important reason for increasing of trade deficit in India. Right, and next one is there is low capital investment. So India's investment, which is fell to 39.8% of GDP in 2010 to approximately now it is in 2021 it is 29.3%. So there is decreasing of capital investment. So government is not spending more. The spending of government is decreased. So whenever there is spending of government is decreased, then it will be having impact on our total economy. Okay, so whenever government is increasing spending on this capital, that means for building of schools, building of roads, railways, etc., then what happens? That will be creating employment opportunities. So whenever government is creating employment opportunities, it is providing what? Salaries. So people will be having money, so that will be helpful for placing of demands for the goods and service in the market. That will lead to the revival of economy. But on another side, there is decreasing of investment in capital expenditure. And next one is there is poor performance of manufacturing sector. Okay, because of demonetization, because of GST, because of global chain, supply chain problems, etc. Now we are facing even there is poor performance of manufacturing sector. And not only that, we are also attracting less investments. So I will be telling other important problems. So we are also attracting very less investments. And not only investments, so there is also a problem, that is inflation in the market. And especially in banking sector, there is increasing of NPAs, non-performing assets. Okay, so even there is no proper calculation methods. So even the statistics is also not proper, right? So these are some important things. And even if you see, government investment in R&D is very less, education is less, health is less, and even if you want to attain the sustainable development goal, so it is a big challenge now for India. Right, so now let us see some facts regarding this National Statistical Office. So it is a nodal agency under which ministry? That is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, that is MOSPI. Right, so here this is the one important organization which is focusing on collection of data, methodology, processing of data, and as well as dissemination of results. And this NSO, National Statistics Office, which consists of Central Statistical Office and Computer Center, and as well as the National Sample Survey Office. So what are the functions of this NSO? It is very important. So it compiles and releases the data of IIP, that is Index of Industrial Production. In our today's newspaper, there is one article regarding the core sector that is related to this IIP. And next one is it also conducts annual survey of industries, and it provides statistical information to assess and evaluate the changes in the growth, composition, and the structure of organized manufacturing sector. So these are some important functions. And now let us see what is the way forward. So as you all know that India is enjoying this demographic dividend. That means very huge working age population is present in India, like more than 15 to 59 years of age. So here, because of this growing of young population, yes, we can grab this opportunity and we can focus on high growth, especially how we can do that. So we can do some investment in this skill development and as well as education, so that we can grab the opportunity of high growth. And next one is maintaining macroeconomic stability and resilience. So these macroeconomic factors, like we have inflation, the important determinants of growth and investment, and we can also maintain the stable macroeconomic conditions as they are essential for sustaining economic growth. So these are some important things that you have to remember regarding the situation of our economy. Clear? Yeah, and now let us move on to our paper. So there is nothing much important in your city page. So don't go to the advertisement because prelims is very much near. So don't focus on these advertisements at all. You will be getting these advertisements daily, right? Yeah, and now in the states page, yes, I found this article which is very, very important. Why? Because especially in your prelims, you can expect a question like which are the species that you are seeing in news, like new species and their names, like which category they belongs to. So from this point of view, this article is important. That is ZSI, that is Zoological Survey of India, names a newly discovered sea slug after President Murmu. So here you have to focus on this word, that is sea slug. Okay, we are going to see this topic, and actually the name it is given here is Melanoclimus Draupadi. Okay, Melanoclimus Draupadi. So you can get a question like recently Melanoclimus Draupadi is in news. So what it is and where it has been identified. So it has been identified especially in West Bengal and Odisha coast, and it is belonging to this sea slug. Okay, so this is that sea slug. So now let us see this topic in detail. Let us see the notes part. So Zoological Survey of India has named this new marine species of head-shielded sea slug with ruby red spot. So which is mainly found from this West Bengal and Odisha coast, and the name here is given after our president, that is in that is Draupadi Murmu. And if you're talking about the name of this species, that is Melanoclimus, okay, Draupadi. And actually this sea slug which is belonging to this Melanoclimus genus, and it is discovered from this Digha of West Bengal coast and Udaipur of Odisha coast. And the new species of head-shrined sea slug, they are found nowhere else in the world. Okay, so this species of genus, that is Melanoclimus, which is having some important characteristics like morphologically they are short, blunt, and they will be having a cylindrical body, and they are having a very smooth dorsal surface and also two dorsal equal or unequal shields. So they are named after anterior cephalic and posterior shield. And the species, they was confirmed by examination of morphological, anatomical and molecular characteristics. And it is a small invertebrate with a maximum length up to 7 mm, and it's also having a brownish black in color, and they will be having a ruby red color spot in the hind end, and it's also having the shell inside the body, okay, like that. And actually they will be present in this intertidal zone. So this word is important, that is intertidal zone. So please let me know what is the meaning of intertidal zone. So if you are not saying today, so I will be telling you and explain this concept in the tomorrow's class. And according to Zoological Survey of India here, so these group, they are generally distributed in temperate regions. Okay, so it is also very important. So they are seen in this temperate regions, and especially in this Indo-Pacific region, and especially in this Gulf of Thailand. So we can see this species of marine sea slug. So let us see some facts regarding this sea slug, so you can get a potential blunt statements from this topic of sea slug. So sea slug, they belongs to the phylum Mollusca and the class, that is Gastropoda, and they look like naked snails. That means, so normally during rainy season you will be seeing that snails, they will be having the shell, and in that shell you can see white color, a small animal that is having two antenna that will be moving very slowly, right? During rainy season you can see this. So in the same way, so how the snail will be like without the shell, so they are looking like naked snails. So snails, they also belongs to this phylum called as Mollusca. Okay, so sea slugs are found in the sea, and some slugs, they also live on land as well. That means it is amphibian, it can live in sea, that is water, and even on the land. And it is a unique species of nudibranch sea slugs. So they were documented on this Vishakhapatnam shore recent in 2023. So nudibranch sea slug had been documented. And actually these sea slugs, they normally live in the places where they have abundant prey bases. That means where they are having the good amount of food, like sponges, hydroids, algae, etc. So they mainly feed on algae, and they are usually seen in large numbers where there is algal bloom. So what is the meaning of this concept of algal bloom? Sometimes if you are traveling, for example, if there is any water body, so you can see like, so that water body which is having top entirely with a very green color. Yes or no? That is called as algal bloom. So that means there is increased nutrients like phosphorus, nitrogen, potassium. So because of this increase in nutrients in the water, that will lead to extensive growth of algae. So algae will be like blooming there. So here this condition is also called as eutrophication. Okay, so this condition is called eutrophication. So eutrophication happens whenever there is increased nutrients. Whenever there is increased nutrients in the water body, that will lead to this condition called as algal bloom, and it is harmful to the animals which are present in that water. So you have to see this concept also, like what is this eutrophication and what are the impacts of this eutrophication, and even BOD, biological oxygen demand, is also very important. And these species are nocturnal, means they are active in night time, and they will go for search of their prey during night times. That is the meaning of nocturnal. Yeah, and now let us go back to our page. Yes, you can directly move on to this editorial page because there is nothing much important. Yes, here you can see a small article. That is, presidential nod for Lok Ayukta bill is victory for Kerala, blow for Khan, LDF. So here you have to focus on this word that is called as Lokayukta. So if you have completed reading your Lakshmikant, I think you might know about this topic, that is Lokpal and Lokayukta. Okay, Lokpal and Lokayukta. So what are the dimensions? You have to see like history. And even in your governance topic also, this Lokayukta and Lokpal is very important. And you have to see here when we got up with this act. And at the center level, okay, at the central level we have this Lokayuktas, and at the state level at the central level we have Lokpal, and at the state level we have this Lokayuktas. And you have to see like which states they have this Lokayuktas. Okay, and you have to see like what are the functions of this Lokayuktas and Lokpals, and you have to see like what is the outcome. And this topic is at most important from your mains. Okay, so from your mains point of view, this article is very important and you have to see this topic for sure. And next you can see this very interesting image. So already a number of times we discussed about this topic. So it is talking about theme. Okay, it is talking about theme. So here you have to know this folk dances. So this topic is at most important from your topic of art and culture. So in art and culture you will be discussing about these dances, right? So you will be studying about these dances and your teacher will be teaching about these dances. And it's one of the important topic where you can get mains and as well as prelims based question. So here in these dances we are studying about two types of dance forms. So first one will be our official dances and next one will be our folk dances. So there are 8 official dances. So one sincere request here is draw India map or take India map and find the location of this 8 official dances on map. So we have Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Kathakali, Kathak, Mohiniyattam, Satriya, Odissi, Manipuri. So we have 8 official dances. You have to see their location. And especially you have to see what are the important features. Okay, for example, so in Odissi we have different postures, like Tribhanga posture is very famous. So like that, so what is the thing which is famous in this Bharatanatyam? What is the thing which is famous in this Manipuri, Satriya? So you have to know that. And from folk dances, so we have number of folk dances. You have to see the state and the folk dances from that state. For example, recently Garba is in news, right? So from that point of view, you have to see the folk dances which are seen in news. And if you move on, in this editorial page, so most of the articles are very important and relevant from our examination point of view. So we are going to take like 2 to 3 articles which are relevant. Yeah, this article is talking about new criminal law. So already we discussed about this topic number of times. So because of that, I am not going to take this article for discussion. And here there is one article regarding Rajya Sabha elections. So here it is talking about this Rajya Sabha elections, and even in text and context also we have this topic of Rajya Sabha elections. So first let us see the gist and let us move on to that editorial page. So I will be zooming it so that you will be having a clear vision. So here in this image you can see there is a ballot box, right? Okay, there is a ballot box. So now let us see the provisions regarding the elections of Rajya Sabha. So as per Article 80 of Indian Constitution, which is talking about the representatives of each state to Rajya Sabha. So those persons, like these Rajya Sabha members, they are not directly elected by the people, they are indirectly elected. Okay, they are indirectly elected by the elected members of their legislative assembly. So this is one key fact. And in order to rein in MLAs from cross voting, an amendment to Representation of People's Act was carried out in 2003 under section 59 of this act, which is amended to provide that voting in elections to Rajya Sabha shall be through open ballot system. Like, so what are the ballot system is there? So this MLAs, they will be showing their vote and they will be keeping their votes in this ballot box. So we have this open ballot system. So this is very important. And next one is Election Commission clarified in July 2017 that the provisions of this 10th schedule with respect to voting against instruction of the party will not be applicable for Rajya Sabha election. That means, so in the first article, like disqualification of MLAs and MLCs, so we discussed about this 10th schedule, right? So this 10th schedule is talking about anti-defection law or anti-defection act. So that is saying that if you are voting against whip of a political party, you will be disqualified. But here in 2017 Election Commission of India, which said that, so the voting against instructions of a political party like whip will not be applicable to Rajya Sabha election. Okay, so this is the thing which mainly said, and this statement can appear in your prelims. Okay, according to, like, you can get a question like, consider the following statements regarding this 10th schedule. So under this, here, if you are voluntarily giving the membership of a political party, you will be disqualified. And here, you cannot be disqualified if you are voting against the instruction of party in Rajya Sabha elections. That is true. So many students, they will be thinking that this second statement is wrong, but this is the thing is true, which is clarified by Election Commission of India. So in this way, here UPSC will ask you the question. You have to be very much clear with the exceptions part. Clear? And now let us see the notes of this topic, and we are going to see like how this elections to Rajya Sabha will going to happen. So recently here Bharatiya Janata Party, that is BJP, won 30 out of 50 Rajya Sabha seats, okay, which fell vacant in April from 15 states, and results announced on February 27. So recently results announced, and about 30 seats out of 56 they were won by this BJP party, the party which is in power in the central level. And we don't know like which party is going to be come into picture or come into power after this Lok Sabha elections. So any guess like which party is going to come into power? So if you have any guess, so please let me know in the comment box. Yeah, now let us see this election process to Rajya Sabha. So Lok Sabha members, they are directly elected by the people. Yes, I will be going, you will be going, who have this age of 18 years and who have this voter ID. So we will be going to the nearest polling booth and we will be casting our vote. So that is normally will happens for this Lok Sabha elections, and we are going to have this Lok Sabha elections in 2024. But these Rajya Sabha members are elected indirectly by the people, so they will be elected by this legislative assembly members, that is member of legislative assembly, that is MLAs. So how many Rajya Sabha members a state they can send, that depends on its population. So MLAs vote in Rajya Sabha election is called as proportional representation with a single transferable vote system. So even for our presidential elections also we have the same process. So each MLA's vote is counted only once. So in this system here, MLA does not vote for each seat. Instead, MLA are given a paper with the names of candidates, and they have to give their order of preferences like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against their names, and the ballot is open, so they have to show and they have to drop their priorities in the ballot box. But MLAs have to show their ballots to an authorized agent from their party to prevent the practices like cross voting, and the voting cannot be counted if ballot is not shown to the agent. And independent MLAs, they cannot show their ballot to anyone. So if for independent MLA, so it is not like, so they have to show, but there is no provision of showing for independent MLA. And if a qualifying member of votes choose a candidate as their first choice, then he will be elected and the remaining votes will be transferred to the next person. So because of this, we are calling it as proportional representative system with a single transferable vote. Okay, so this is the thing. And next important article, the article of the day is very interesting. So I also thought that till now I also didn't think about these people. So after reading this article, so I realized myself, like I did lots of problem, and I didn't even think about these people at least once. So I don't know whether have you think about this informal waste pickers. So whether have you think about the health conditions of those people? Whether have you bothered about this informal waste pickers at least one time? Yeah, so let us see this article. So today is March 1st, so it is International Waste Pickers Day. And we are going to pay homage to fellow pickers who were murdered in Colombia in 1992. So it is a day we are celebrating, that is International Waste Pickers Day. And this article is very important from our environment and ecology, because so these people, they play a very important role in the recycling of waste. So many a times we discussed about this recycling of waste topic, but even not a single day we discussed about the role of this waste pickers, right? So whenever you are writing answers regarding the solid waste management, just try to incorporate this also. Okay, then you can enrich your answer. Okay, let us see the notes part. So on this March 1st, we are celebrating International Waste Pickers Day. So waste pickers across the world, they will pay homage to fellow pickers who were murdered in Colombia in 1992. So actually these waste pickers, they comes under informal economy, who often forgotten by each and everyone. Even I also forgotten about them. And they are the hyper marginalized worker. Okay, they are hyper marginalized worker cohort in the waste value ecosystem, and they play an indispensable role in this waste management, but they are invisible. Okay, but they are invisible. So if you see the data which is given by this International Labour Organization, which defines this informal sector as like in this, especially in this waste management area. So individuals, they are small and micro enterprises, they intervene in the waste management without being registered and without being formally charged with providing the waste management services. So they are providing this waste management services, but they are not registered and they are not getting the enough salary. And these workers, they are primarily collecting this recyclable waste, and they play a very important role in this waste management, and as well as they are focusing on collecting, sorting, trading, and sometimes even reinserting discarded waste back into the economy. So the informal waste economy, which employs about 0.5 to 2% of urban population globally. So across the globe, about 0.5 to 2% of people who were employed in this informal waste economy, and many were women, children and elderly people. So even who are disabled, so they are working in this informal waste sector. So they are poorest of urban poor, and they face violence, and even many times they also face sexual harassment. So the periodic labor survey 2017 to 2018, which indicates that there are nearly 1.5 million waste pickers within India's urban workforce, and they are also including like 500,000 being women who are working as informal waste pickers. And the important problems they are facing is because they are working in a very unsanitized area, so they are facing problem with the poor health, and there is irregular work, low income and irregular harassment, and also regular harassment. They are also faced by this people, And these people, they also face a discrimination, especially social hierarchy. So they are also facing health issues like dermatological and respiratory health issues apart from regular injuries. And even Alliance of Indian Waste Pickers 2023 gave the report that so nowadays private actors, they are employing machineries, expensive machineries, and they are offering competitive rates to waste generators such as households and businesses. So that is even marginalizing this informal pickers. And even because of this step it is taken by this private sector companies, so they are forcing them, that is informal waste pickers, to hazardous waste picking, and they are going to especially dumping sites, scavenging sites, and it is having the huge health risk, and even that is compromising the income, and they are also facing a very low social status. So these are the problems you are facing by this informal sector, informal waste pickers. And here you have to know about this concept called as extended producer responsibility. So extended producer responsibility, which has gained a traction in India, that means to enhance plastic waste management. So it also transfers now the responsibility of picking of waste to the people who produce that. Okay, for example, if there is a lace company which is producing like 100 packets of lace, so they will be packed in this plastic packets, right? So if I am taking, normally have a habit of eating lace, okay, every day at least one 5 rupees packet I will be having. So I am a big lover of lace, especially I love this American onion flavor. So I am buying this lace and I will be eating lace, and after that I will be throwing in the dustbin. So it is not my responsibility, right? So here it is a responsibility of that lace company to collect that packet. That is called as extended producer responsibility. So it is transferring the responsibility of waste management from municipal authorities and the holds commercial waste producers. So now these commercial waste producers, they are accountable to collect the waste they are generating. So EPR appears seemingly promising with potential for social inclusion of these waste pickers. So now these lace companies, they can keep this waste pickers as employees and they can give some money for them to pick their waste. Okay, so in this way here, social inclusion for waste pickers, it is a potential thing that we can do now. So under this even solid waste management rules of 2016, they are mandating the inclusion of this waste pickers in municipal solid waste management system, but we are missing this priority which is given to this informal workers under this solid waste management rules of 2016. And not only that, so even EPR guidelines of 2022 published. So this is published by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So they are ignoring the role of this informal waste pickers in waste management and recycling. And this one is, yes, we have this plastic treaty. So globally waste pickers, they collect and they recover up to 60% of all the plastic. Then we are going for recycling of this plastic. And this is the thing which mainly said by World Economic Forum report in 2022. And despite these waste pickers, they are playing a very important role in the sustainable recycling of plastic. So we are not giving the value to those people and we are not providing the decent standard of living for those people. And even UNDP and Pew reports, they are saying that informal waste pickers, they collected about 27 million metric tons of plastic. So if they are not collecting, means finally this waste used to be dumped into the landfills or ocean, right? That will lead to the huge problem, that will be exacerbating the problem of plastic pollution and plastic garbage patches that we are seeing in the oceans. So but they also have to bear the burning plastic fumes and consuming of the water, which are mainly containing microplastics, etc. So now here there is a one chance which is given in this article, like one thing that we can do is we can make them into formal economy. So we have to rethink about the formulation of this EPR, that is extended producer responsibility norms, and we have to integrate this millions of informal waste pickers into new legal framework, right? So this is the thing which mainly said by the article, and I love this article a lot. Yeah, next important topic is India's leopard population rises to 13,874 and MP is on top. So how many of you are from MP? So please tell me like what are the steps taken by the state government of MP to rise the number of leopards? Okay, don't forget. So please tell me. Yeah, now let us see the context. India's leopard numbers had rose by 8% from 12,852 in 2018 to 13,874 in 2022. So for every 4 years we are going to have the census like tiger census. So if you see details, the highest number of leopards are reported in states like MP first one, and next one is Maharashtra, and next one is Karnataka, and fourth place is Tamil Nadu. So Uttarakhand used to have this leopard, but there is 22% of decline in these leopards. So what are the threats? Because of poaching, because of human-animal conflict, and even Arunachal Pradesh, Assam and West Bengal, they have collective rise of 150% of these leopards. And unlike tigers, so these leopards are having unique characteristics, like they are confined to the forest reserves and they are most adaptable than compared to that of tigers. So because of this, we are seeing their significant rise, but compared to tigers, so the reproduction rate will be slow in these leopards. And if you are talking about conservation of habitat, so Shivalik Hills and Gangetic Plains, they recorded 3.4% of yearly decline of this habitat. So because of this, now we can see there is decreasing of number of these leopards in this Uttarakhand region, and especially in Central India and Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats and hills of Northeast. So they are recording the growth of habitats of 1.5% per annum. So we are seeing there is increasing of number in these leopards. Okay, so this is the conclusion which is given in this study. And now let us see some facts regarding these leopards. So leopards are elusive and they are nocturnal animals, that means they are active in night time, and their size and color which is depend upon habitats, and they are very great climbers. So they can climb the trees and they can hide in the trees, and they can hide when they are prey to avoid competition. And especially if you are talking about the geographical extent where they are living, so they are found, they can be found in this Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, Southern Russia, and even the Indian subcontinent. So Indian leopard, the name, scientific name is Panthera pardus fucosa. So it is a leopard which is widely distributed on Indian subcontinent. And if you are talking about habitat, in comparison to other large carnivores, leopards are quite adaptable, okay, because of their habitat needs, because of their food requirements, and they normally seen in this agro-pastoral landscapes, and they can be seen in plantations and even near human habitations like rural areas and urban areas. And they are facing threats like habitat loss, so that is evident in this Uttarakhand, that is Shivalik region. And next one is poaching and human-wildlife conflict. So the other threats. Apart from this, if you are talking about the protection status, they are listed in vulnerable, and even they are listed in Appendix 1 in CITES, and also in this Wildlife Protection Act, they are listed in the Schedule 1. So actually the time is going on running fast. Yes, we have to see other important articles which are present in our newspaper. Okay. Yes, this MSP topic I discussed in detail, so please revise the topic once. And in this text and context, I discussed about this Rajya Sabha elections. And there is one article regarding this NATO. Is NATO membership in cards for Ukraine? So here you have to see the gist. So Western powers, they joined Ukraine last weekend to mark 2 years of Russian aggression on its territory. And the countries are going on or growing, okay. And the most immediate concern here is severe depletion of Ukraine's artillery ammunition on the battlefield. So it is also posing a challenge to hold back Russian troops along 150 kilometers front line. So it is running out of this ammunition, especially Ukraine. And because of the support from these European countries and Western countries, so till now, even though Ukraine is a very small country, it is fighting bravely against this Russia, which is a mighty power. And US, which has been largest arm contributor to the war effect, war effort, about $60 billion aid bill to Ukraine has been stalled in the Congress. So even Trump is saying that you should not provide arms and ammunition for this Ukraine. So we have to wait and see what will going to happen soon. And if you move on to this news page, I found nothing much important. Okay, so let us move on. Yes, here you can see one important scheme, that is free electricity solar scheme. So our union cabinet approved rupees 75,021 crore package for this PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. So that is about PM free electricity scheme, and they are especially promoting this rooftop solar installations in India. Okay, you have to know about what is this scheme, under which ministry it is coming up, and what are some important provisions, and there is a high chance of getting question regarding this free electricity solar scheme. And I discussed about this leopard population topic, and there is one more interesting topic, that is Lancet study shows obesity rates going up across the world. So across the world there is increasing of obesity. So I want to share one thing, like I have a dream to become very fat, but unfortunately it's not happening. Okay, but some people, they don't want to even become fat, they will be becoming fat day by day. So that is one example, like this is obesity. So obesity is nothing but it is a type of malnutrition, and we will be discussing about the malnutrition diseases like kwashiorkor, marasmus and obesity. That will come under the topic of your science and technology under diseases. So from that article point of view, that is very important. Okay. So obesity, it has become the one of the most common form of malnutrition in the most countries. So this is a thing which mainly said by this paper. Okay, now let us move on. So directly we have to shift on to this business page. So in this business page, you can say like government capex. So capex is nothing but capital expenditure, which has been shrinked like 40.5% in January, leaving fiscal deficit this 64% of target. Okay, so you have to see like what is this capital expenditure. So what are the advantages of this expenditure? So number of times we discussed this. And next one is January core sector growth slows to 15-month low. So there is decreasing of growth in this core sector. You have to remember which are the sectors comes into this core sector. That is F, E, R, N, S, 3 C's. F is for fertilizer, E is for electricity, R is for refinery, N is for natural gas, S is for steel, 1 is for coal, crude oil, cement. Okay, so in this way you can remember these 8 core sectors. Okay. So that's all for today. So these are the very important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. If you really like this class, hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends also. And one more thing here is, if you are from Ashok Nagar or if you are staying in Hyderabad, so if you want to come and meet me directly, and if you want to get to use this opportunity of free prelims mentorship, and if you want to write the prelims test for free, yes, come and contact us. And one more thing here is, I will be giving you the location of this offline branch in the description box, or else you can directly text me on WhatsApp 8074765513, so that I can share you the location on this WhatsApp also. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching.